house that just shot at us. Did you listen to the 911 tape?
And they didn't.
How's everything going today?
Oh my god. Truly marching for equality.
All right.
And they are now
Hello.
representing,
Hello, everyone.
females
Am I
in the
tracking?
womb, or
I am.
humans in
Let me
the
turn
womb.
off the desktop. Sorry. Hey, everyone. How you doing today? Thank you for joining me, and welcome to another installment of the DA Perspective. There's a lot going on this week. I happened to stumble across some live footage of the Women's March that's happening right now. So I kind of wanted to open the show with just showing some raw footage from the ground, letting these people speak their piece. And then I have another guest that's coming that's going to join me here in the studio in about 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to take the liberty of just letting this play for a little bit. So you can hear what's going on in the ground down here. I'm going to set up another mic and another camera for this other individual, and hopefully we can get him on the show and get him rocking as well. So give me a few. I'm going to go back. I'm just going to let this live feed run for a little bit. I do have a show planned for everyone today. We're going to be going over... obviously the election's happening right now. So Donald Trump and Joe Biden are, going head to head, and, the battle for the ages, but not to be ageist, but they are, old dudes. And then we're going to go over some political ads. Then we're going to look at the big story of the week, the militia group that attempted to kidnap Governor Whitmer. We're going to look at another big story from the week, which is the censoring of the New York Post article on Twitter and Facebook. Now, there's some big ramifications for that. Some 1984 type stuff. I want to play an excerpt I want to play a clip from Bruce Dumont's show Beyond the Beltway when I appeared, not this past weekend, but the week prior, a conversation that I had with a Florida couple. I wanted to just replay that and kind of let you guys see what was going on there. And then we'll just end on some general, let's get out the vote kind of stuff. So I'm going to go back to this feed of the march. I don't know that they're not actually in front of people marching anymore, but we'll just let this ride for a little bit. It seems like some pro-life, I think it's Students for Pro-Life or something to that effect. They went and they crashed the march. It's a women's march, for women's rights and, a host of different issues that women are fighting for every single day. But specifically on this day, they come together as a collective and they've done this march. So I'm just going to go to this feed here and let it ride.
The Portrait Innovation.
There was a couple moments when it got a little heated and contentious. There was opposing sides kind of getting into each other's space and kind of trying to say their piece to one another of what was happening. So we'll let this ride for a little bit longer. If there's no more discussion, we'll just jump right into the show. Can I actually go back? Let's just go back a little bit and look at some key points here.
pro-science, pro-life, 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 pro-science, pro-life,
I represent every baby that fucking died. Where the fuck were my rights? Hondorolobosa. Where were my rights? I ain't got no rights. I'm black. Where's that black? Where's my black rights? Where's my rights? You don't give a fuck about nobody. Where was my rights? Where was my fucking rights? Thank God I survived an abortion. I represent all the babies that are dead. I represent all the babies that are dead. I survived. Thank God Almighty, I survived. I said, yeah, fuck me. That's right. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me.
Somebody get her mic. She about to
me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck my rights. Where the fuck were my rights? Where the
rights were in your mother.
Even hear you.
Rights were in your mother. Your rights were in your mother. She made a decision that was for her life. And if it went the way it should have gone,
she tried to kill me. She tried to kill me.
Her decision.
Where were my rights? Am I not a woman?
My body.
I don't
my rights. My body.
In my mother's womb.
My body.
Guess what?
My rights.
Really?
My body.
Is this my mom's body?
My body.
This ain't my mom's body.
My body.
This,
my right.
I deserve to live.
We understand
I deserve to
we
live.
understand your rights.
I deserve to live. My children deserve to live. God loves us. Period. God loves us. Where were my rights? You don't give a fuck about people. You don't give a fuck about me. You don't give a fuck about black people. You don't give a fuck. Where the fuck were my rights? Where the fuck were my rights? Where is my rights? You want me dead. You'd rather have me dead. You want 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 me dead. It was you want me dead. And she tried. And she tried to kill me. And it didn't work. I survived. These are her hands. These are her legs. These are my motherfucking hands and my motherfucking legs. Okay? I deserve to live. Thank God Almighty. I have life. I have life. I have a future because my mother's abortion didn't work. Okay? She tried to kill me. I made it through. And God forbid that we keep killing our children. We keep killing our future. Because there is a God and He loves me. I survived. Hallelujah. And He loves you too, baby girl. He loves your blackness. He loves it. He loves your
Trump gonna kill us all. It doesn't matter about
your life matters, and so does mine. My life matters. My life matters. This is the voice of every child that will never be able to say anything. This is the voice of every child that is in heaven right now. This is the voice of every child that made it through the womb. Because God forbid we kill our future. Remember Whitney Houston? I believe the children are the future. Not with abortion. With abortion, they're not the future. They're the future. That's your bloodline. Have some respect for your bloodline. Have some respect for your bloodline. Oh yeah.
I have the right to do
Go ahead and kill it. Kill it. Kill your bloodline. You're the one that will suffer in the future. You're the one. And guess what? I had an abortion. I had an abortion. I did. Yes. Yes. And I suffered. I killed my baby. I killed my baby. I killed my baby, and I was forgiven. And I was forgiven. Hallelujah. I was forgiven. And now my child gets to live.
So now that you have your safe abortion, no one else can. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if I could protect somebody from suffering the way I did.
If you protect somebody from having a safe abortion.
Murder. Don't murder people. Period. Don't murder people.
After you murder.
Yes, and I was forgiven.
Okay.
Do you know what forgiveness is from heaven above?
You know what a hypocrite is?
All of my sins are forgiven.
Okay.
All of my sins are forgiven. All of my sins are forgiven. And if you knew Jesus, all of your sins will be forgiven.
I do. And you know what he said about abortion? Nothing. He said nothing. There's not one verse that Jesus says about abortion.
You don't know the Bible. The 10 Commandments.
Jesus never said the 10 Commandments.
Thou shalt not kill.
That's Moses.
Thou shalt not kill.
Moses, bitch.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Read your Bible. Read it. Read it.
Not Jesus.
Read it.
Moses.
Read it.
Moses.
You don't know your Bible.
Bitch, you don't know.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Because my mother tried to abort me, and I made it out of the. And thank God Almighty I did. Now I can fight for every voice that doesn't get a voice. Those lives, they're black. The black babies don't matter. The Puerto Rican babies don't matter. My life matters. My life matters. And thank God Almighty I made it out of the womb. And I will be the voice for the voiceless. That's right. That's right. So everybody who got an abortion, God can still forgive you. There is forgiveness for you. Just like there was forgiveness for me. For all of the shit that we did. Oh, I did worse than abortion. I did a lot worse than abortion. My sins are more horrible than that. But I've been forgiven. I've been forgiven. And now I will stand for what's right. Now I will stand for what's true. Now I will not condone murder of people. It's people. I'm sorry? I've just been sitting here praying. Y'all came in front of me.
What's your first name?
Y'all came in front of me. I'm Cookie.
Hey, can you spell it?
Just like a cookie. It's my nickname.
Where you from?
I'm from Bowie, right here. And I'm just here to pray for all the children of the future. Remember Whitney Houston? I believe the children of the future. There are no children. There could be more people here. There could be more people here if we didn't abort them all. And if you understand.
Life, then where's your mask? And second of all,
because I am a student of medicine. I know what my immune system can do. Yes.
Bitch, I'm an ER nurse.
Okay. So do you understand the immune system?
I do, because I'm an ER nurse.
Okay, so then why are you wearing a fucking mask? Do you understand that oxygen? You understand that you're making your body more acidic by not breathing in the air? Do you understand that? You wear surgery because you're protecting the Do you understand how small a virus is? No, you don't. If you understood. Okay. Why do you have a mask on? Do you understand you have an immune system? Immune system. Your body was made to fight all kinds of diseases and sicknesses. If you did a little more research on the coronavirus, do you know that the coronavirus is patented? Have you done that? Have you done that research?
Do you know that?
Have you done that research? The coronavirus is patented. Why would a virus be patented? Why? Because they're making money off of our ignorance. They're making money off of our ignorance.
So you have the science degree in what?
I am studying herbal medicine.
Are you like YouTube University? Like what is this? Like,
excuse me?
I said,
the Maryland University of Integrated Health. It's in Laurel, Maryland. Check it out. Do you understand? Oxygen is actually healing. Oxygen, they have a hyperbaric oxygen therapy. What does that do?
I'm hyperbaric certified.
So why don't you know what it is?
I do know what it is.
So why are you wearing a mask?
It's 33 feet.
It makes no sense. Your immune system system is powerful if you're eating the right food. God already made our immune system powerful. God Almighty already made our immune system powerful. Our immune system is so powerful, you don't need the government to heal you. You don't need the government to tell you what to do. We should have freedom to understand where we come from, who made our bodies, and how we're going to live. That's freedom. I want to be free. I want to be fucking free. I can't do it. High school biology will teach you biology. So why aren't you using it? You're not using it, my sister. Please breathe. Please breathe.
So next time I'm
Breathe oxygen.
Next time I'm in surgery.
You're ruining your body.
Next time I'm in
You're ruining. Look, I'm here because I have love in my heart.
Tell your doctor next time you're in surgery that he has a right to wear a mask. Tell your doctor next time you're in surgery that he has a right to wear a mask.
Do some research on what not having oxygen does to you.
Do some research on
Okay, because oxygen alkalinizes your body. If you don't get enough oxygen, it acidifies your body, which is a breeding ground for cancer. They want you fucking dead. They wanna put vaccines in you. It's gonna kill you. You know how many vaccines have already killed people and they hide that shit? Do you know how many kill people? Do you know how many diseases kill people? And do you know how your immune system can help you? Diseases kill people? Do you know that our bodies were created to fight it?
Mic check, mic check.
You need the government to heal you. You need the government to heal you.
Polio's eradicated because we have a vaccine?
Oh, you mean the polio vaccine that they took Bill Gates to court for because it killed so many people? Do some research.
Polio vaccine with Bill
Do
Gates?
some research.
He wasn't even alive.
How do you imagine dead?
Are you scared? This means you're scared.
I'm not scared because only one of us actually knows how to incubate.
Breathe.
Only one of us actually
Breathe. Breathe, my love. Your body needs oxygen.
Dude. Oh, this is out in front of the Supreme Court.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, I love that.
All right, mic check. I'm good. Let's turn off desktop audio. And let's get I think I need to put you in here. Give me a mic check, you.
Mic check, mic check.
Nope. Let me put you in here real quick. You in there. Bye. Okay, and you should be at the bottom here. Yeah, you should be good.
Testing.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure we're not running into the same thing. Yours is on B2 as well. I'm going to put you on B3. Talk to me one more time. We'll leave it there. Oh, no, because then I'm coming through double. Sorry, give me 1 second. Three. Give me another test.
Thing.
There you go. You should be on your own. One more time.
Testing.
All right, cool. All right, we should be able to hear you now, sir. Let's just make sure that you are in the browser one as well. We're gonna go ahead and just switch back to this real quick.
Have the same chance that you did at life, through adoption, through birth. An abortion is ending a human
Testing.
life. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here.
Let's turn that off. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the DA Perspective. I finally got Patrick in here. Peace. Did you share on the socials, or are you trying to fly below the radar right now?
Flying below the radar, buddy.
Well, give me a second. I need to hit the social line with this real quick. I need to let everybody know this is happening. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Copy that. Go to that normal Facebook page, and then we can get started. Give me 1 second. So how was your weekend, Patrick? How was everything?
Yeah, it's pretty chill. Pretty chill. Getting started.
Nice. Are you excited about the opportunity to vote? Have you voted yet?
I have not, but I'm making a plan. That's the important part, right? Make a plan. Make sure you get out there safe. Make your voice heard.
That is the most important part.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lucky for you, I can just tag you in this. All right, let's go. All right, we're good. All right, so let me get back to my main screen here so I can double check what we're looking at. All right, yeah, so again, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of the DA Perspective. Today is I don't have my watch on today. What is today? 14th? 16th? I think today's the 16th.
16th,
17th. Today is the 17th, October 17th.
All right.
We are very, very close to the election coming up here in the United States. As you already know, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the two candidates that have been chosen by their respective parties, even though we have way more than one party running for this election. So the agenda today, if you missed it earlier, and for those who were watching earlier and then came in and out, I wanted to just cut to live footage of the Women's March that's happening outside of the Supreme Court of the United States. And there were some Trump supporters and some pro-life individuals who were kind of clashing, for lack of a better term, with those protesters, the Women's March protesters. So I just wanted to show some of that coverage. 3 o'clock is the normal time for us to go live, but I just wanted to jump in there real quick. So again, for those who don't know, this is my buddy Patrick. He's pretty astute in the political realm. He was if you want to divulge everyone with who your chosen candidate was.
Oh yeah, I was repping that Yang Gang way back when. I think I was Yang Gang before he hit mainstream. I think before the Joe Rogan podcast. But yeah, I kind of heard about him, but I've been on that Yang Gang, still am, so.
Yeah, he actually, he did the same thing that Bernie did, right? Which was, you end up supporting whoever that chosen candidate was, like they both said they were going to do. So I guess that's a good thing in that aspect. All right, so let's jump right into it. I want to, like I said, the agenda today, we're going to go over some Trump-Biden stuff. I want to take a look at a few political ads. I want to talk about the kidnapping attempt of the governor. I want to talk about the Twitter and Facebook censoring of the New York Post article and why that's important. And then I want to go to a clip from Bruce's show, Bruce Dumont of Beyond the Beltway. I was on a show recently and I had a conversation with not only the individual who's running for the governor of Illinois, for a senator of Illinois against Dick Durbin, but also a husband and wife from Florida, Trump family, and just like an unexpected opportunity to say something about the Palestinian plight. And then we'll just end with some general go vote and wear a mask. So let's jump right into it right here. Let me get this to the right screen. So I want to start with this video here from Good Morning America. This is actually from today, the 17th. Yeah, so here, let me turn this up real quick.
President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are hitting the campaign trail hard, focusing on key battlegrounds.
President Trump holding rallies overnight in Florida and Georgia, while Biden was mobilizing voters in Michigan. The candidates painting very different pictures about where we are in this coronavirus pandemic.
And as the candidates were out stumping for votes, early voting opened up in Louisiana, leading to long lines in some places like we've seen in other parts of the country. And for the first time ever, voters will be casting ballots at the famed Fenway Park in Boston to give people a big open-air space to vote. ABC's Rachel Scott is in Washington, D.C., one of several cities nationwide where the Women's March will be focusing on getting out the vote as well. Rachel, good morning.
Whit, good morning, and thousands are expected at that march here in Washington. It's one of 400 events happening all across the country. With just 17 days to go, both sides trying to frame this race around the pandemic. The president insisting that we are rounding the corner as his rival Joe Biden warns that with a rise in cases and under the president's leadership, it's only getting worse. Overnight, President Trump behind in the polls, hitting the campaign trail in states he carried 4 years ago. In Georgia, a Republican stronghold, even contemplating a scenario where he would lose the election.
Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
And in Florida, speaking directly to seniors, trying to win back that critical voting bloc his rival is now showing strength with.
Seniors will be the first in line for the vaccine, and we will soon be ending this pandemic. The light at the end of the tunnel is near. We are rounding the turn.
On that same day the president made those remarks, the U.S. hit a grim milestone, 8 million coronavirus cases. Hours later, Georgia State Representative Vernon Jones seen crowd surfing at the president's rally without a mask, passed around by singing, wearing one either. Joe Biden in Michigan taking on the president, claiming Trump is in deep denial and Americans are dying because of it.
Turn the corner. My Lord. It's not disappearing. In fact, it's on the rise again. It's getting worse as predicted.
A new Pew Research poll showing the former vice president leading nationally by more than 30 points with Latinos, a key voting demographic. The Biden campaign sitting down virtually with celebrity couple Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez.
My kind of hope and quest for the Latino community is that they start understanding their power. They understand what they mean to this country, that their vote counts.
More than 22 million Americans have already cast their ballots. From New Orleans to Chicago, early voters rushing to the polls. Charles Gill said he would wait in line for as long as it takes.
The people before me that stood in line for me to give me this opportunity to stand here, I'm pretty sure they went through much more than I had to do.
With just 17 days to go, former President Barack Obama will be hitting the campaign trail too, for the first time in person. At a Democratic fundraiser saying winning in November is a necessity.
A lot of times people used to call me no drama Obama. Well, it's true. I tend to be pretty steady. You know, I don't engage in a lot of hyperbole. But this one really is the most important election that I can think of.
All right, so I'm just going to stop there. He goes on for another couple minutes. So there was a lot of things that they talked about in there. Let me actually make sure I get this right here. There it is. Yeah, so there was a lot of things that they talked about in there. So thus far in this election cycle, like I heard you kind of, when they said 21 million, did you not know that many people already voted?
Yeah, I think I saw 12 million 2 days ago, so it's jumping at 22. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Doubling in a matter of a few days. So, I mean, it's amazing. It's powerful.
And so you know, right, historically, when more people vote, who wins?
Democrats.
Every time. So that's why, you know, you caught wind of what was happening with Governor Abbott in Texas, right?
Yeah. They're doing a number of things. They limited the ballot drop boxes, right, to one per county.
Yes, and you're from Houston, right?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that Harris County?
Harris County, I think.
So one box for how many? 3 million people, or?
Well, Harris County, no, four. I don't know the numbers, but I mean, like the greater Houston area is comparable to Chicago. I mean, you're talking, you know, millions of people for one drop box.
Yeah, we're looking at 2.3 million people in 2018. So all those people for one drop box. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's essentially voter suppression, right? I mean, there's really no other word for it.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
Yeah, there's really no other way to call it. So one of the things I noticed from there is, you know, Obama's finally coming out, and I was listening to some other individuals talk about it. And the thing is, you know, when Hillary was running, Obama was out like right away, like front and center, you know, championing for her to win. And only now, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks out from the election, are we really seeing the Obama push. The only other time in this entire election process that we've seen Obama say anything was when they came out to squash Bernie Sanders.
Interesting. Good point.
Right. So what they were saying was that, you know, if Biden fucks this up, he doesn't want his name on it, right? Because he already went through that once with Hillary, right? She fucked it up. The DNC fucked it up. She lost. Everyone thought she was going to win. And, you know, he was out there campaigning for her pretty hard and left a little bit of egg on his face, you know? So I think that's what that why that is the case right now. I don't know why this text keeps going in and out. So either way, so Trump and Biden hitting it hard. Did you notice the crowd surfing guy with no mask?
Yeah, who's that? What's that about?
What's up, Pog?
It's crazy. This guy's crazy. They just don't care, right?
No, they really I don't think they do. And here's the thing, it's like, you know, whether you agree with it or not, it's like you can't refute that it's there. It's a real thing. The virus is real. People got sick. The president got sick. Like everyone.
Dude, the president's kid. What was his Barron? The youngest
sick.
one. The youngest one, right?
Yeah, and the reality is, I actually have a video here of Tiffany. Is her name? I think Tiffany Trump.
One of the I don't know how many Trumps there are. Just as many Kardashians, dude.
She just turned
ridiculous.
27, and she had a party, and so they made an ad out of it. But what I was going to say was, it's a little disingenuous for the president to go out and make the remarks that he's immune and that he beat the virus and all this stuff in the manner that he is, because he was given treatment that nobody else has access to.
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't even said if he tested negative yet, right? Like he's not released.
Not one time.
He's not released when he tested negative, when he tested positive, if he's still being tested negative. You know, it's like the dude is basically walking around with the virus, you know, every breath and everything he says, it's just virus out of his mouth until otherwise. I mean, this is ridiculous.
It's like, and I've realized this about you know, and it's hard to put this label or whatever, but I don't want to just say Republicans as a whole, but I guess from people who exhibit the characteristics that the president is right now, he may have all these negative tests, but because people are crying for it, and his words would be they're whining for it or whatever, he's just going to withhold it. Because what is there to make him put it out, right? So he knows that it's a topic of discussion, and he knows what he calls the liberal media. They'll just come out and just keep bickering and bitching about it. You know, it kind of gives him the upper hand, the edge. Now, the right thing to do is to know, is the guy infectious or not?
Yeah.
I mean, we should know, but
he's got to turn everything into some kind of political game here. It's ridiculous.
Because our country's a...
Sorry, that was me.
I mean, that's his MO. He's just making everything some kind of divisive topic, whether it should be or not.
Right.
You know, releasing his health records, releasing his tax records. I mean, it goes on and on and on, right? Everything is some kind of controversy that, like you said, the media jumps on and end up with a story that he can keep in the headlines, and he can do his bidding behind all that smoke screen. Sometimes they say, right?
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I want to go to a video here of DJT. And so what's happening right now is Donald Trump is sliding with the seniors. He's losing the senior vote.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's losing the senior vote because they're dying. Right? Let's be fucking real.
I wonder what's killing them.
I wonder what's
curious.
killing them. Yeah, so they're getting sick and they're dying. Oh, there was another thing. I was having this conversation with someone recently, and it was about Corona.
Yeah.
And they were saying that they're still undecided about it or whatever. And I knew that the number was 200,000, and I knew that was a lot. And so I actually pulled up, and let's see if I can actually pull it up here. I pulled up it was from the CDC. There was the leading causes of death for Americans. Let me pull this up right here. And what is really telling about this? Give me 1 second. Let me figure out why these socials are on here twice. I don't understand. Was it this? So what's really telling about this is, oh, I see what it is. It's right here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. So what's really telling here, so 200,000 deaths were caused by coronavirus, right? And the conversation that we were having was, they said, oh, well, comorbidities. All right, let's have the comorbidity conversation. It's true, right? It's true that a lot of people would otherwise not have died if they didn't have these comorbidities, obesity, heart disease, all these other things, right? Mm-hmm. But what I said was, you're standing at the edge of a cliff and you have diabetes, right? You're at the edge of the cliff, but you haven't gone over the cliff. Nothing pushed you over.
Right.
You didn't jump. You're just at the edge of the cliff with your diabetes.
Yeah.
Now, COVID comes and kicks you and your diabetes over the cliff.
Yeah.
Coronavirus is what killed you, because otherwise you'd still be alive with your diabetes.
Yeah.
Right? And
diabetes is what manageable. It's livable.
Sure,
Right?
and
You
as
have
are a
proper
lot of
treatment.
comorbidities, right?
Right,
Obesity
right.
is,
Oh, yeah.
it is manageable, right? I mean, we do have a host of pharmaceuticals that allow people to maintain some form of quality of life, albeit being morbidly obese. So I pulled up the leading causes of death in the United States, and as we can see on this chart, heart disease at number 1, and this is from 2017. And this is the CDC's own website. So let's not, listen, if we're going to start tearing down the pillars of our society, right? The science, the facts, listen, you guys have to let this live. We have to trust something here. So the CDC.
You say this. I had a conversation with this lady on Facebook, a friend of mine, but she didn't think the CDC was a government institution.
Like a reputable agency?
She's going on about how it's run by stakeholders and stocks. I was like, come on now. This thing was established in the 1940s. Like, this is ridiculous. Why are we arguing over fact and law? But some people, man, they don't think the CDC is real. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
People out there people think like this. It's wild.
So,
but anyways, we gotta have common ground, like you said. We gotta find someone. Okay, let's agree that CDC is real. Not saying it isn't, but
sure. No, I hear you.
But yeah, these people out there, man.
So we see heart disease, 650,000 deaths. Cancer, 600,000 deaths. The next one, the third leading cause, unintentional injuries caused by accidents. I assume those are, workplace accidents, mostly probably vehicle accidents, to be honest, traffic accidents, things of that nature, right? And we have 160,000 chronic respiratory, stroke, Alzheimer's, right? If we took coronavirus for the number that it is, 200,000, it is the third leading cause of death in America, right? And the significance of that, and what I was trying to tell that person, is whether you want to agree that it's a real thing or not, whether you want to agree that it is what caused people's death, the reality is that added to this list is an extra 200,000 people. Do you understand? It may take a little bit off each one, like maybe someone, 50,000 people that had heart disease died from corona, so now it's listed as corona. But the reality is there's 200,000 extra-ish people on this list. The thing is real, and the end all be all that I told this person when they kind of they didn't really concede, but they understood what I was saying, was refrigerated trailers are showing up at hospitals for dead bodies. You can't, when the hell does that happen? Right? That doesn't happen.
It does not.
That's the only thing that, really, when this all started and it was corona and all this stuff, that was the one thing I needed. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. Yep.
They wouldn't be pulling bodies out of the damn hospital if they weren't all dying from this thing.
Yeah, New York, they had trailers, right?
Yes.
And they ran out of places to bury these people.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and then people couldn't come and claim them because nobody's holding funeral services.
Right.
Because it's a disease, How do we get rid of this? Dispose of it safely. So
sure. So now I want to go back to the seniors, right? Because that's how we started on this tangent.
Yeah.
So Trump put out this White House video recently, and that's why even today or yesterday, he held an event that was for seniors, specifically for seniors. Yeah, which is ironic because he puts all these old people in a room, and this is where liberty and free will come into play. Listen, they put themselves in that room. He just invited them, and I'll give them that. I don't want to take their agency from them. Okay, so let's play this video by Senior Trump, and you'll hear some interesting stuff.
Favorite people in the world, the seniors. I'm a senior. I know you don't know that.
No, you don't know that.
Maybe you don't have to tell them, but I'm a senior.
God.
We are making tremendous progress with this horrible disease that was sent over by China. China will pay a big price for what they did to the world and to us. But we have medicines right now, and I call them a cure. I went into the hospital a week ago. I was very sick, and I took this medicine, and it was incredible. It was incredible. I could have walked out the following day, sooner. It was incredible the impact it had. And we're going to make that and others that are similar to it, almost identical, we're going to make them available immediately. We have an emergency use authorization that I want to get signed immediately. The FDA has moved at a level that they've never moved before. Things that would take 2, 3, 4 years are taking a matter of weeks or even sooner than that. And that's because of me. We're taking care of our seniors. You're not vulnerable, but they like to say the vulnerable, but you're the least vulnerable. But for this one thing, you are vulnerable. So am I. I want you to get the same care that I got. I got incredible care of Walter Reed, incredible doctors. And this medicine in particular, one medicine was unbelievable. You're going to get the same medicine. You're going to get it free, no charge. And we're going to get it to you soon. And the nice part is it's made by a number of companies. It's totally safe, but it's powerful against this disease. So we're going to get it out to you. We're going to take care of our seniors, all free. And I just want to thank you. And what we've gone through as a country is a horrible thing. My opponent, as you know, he talks, but he never did anything in 47 years. I did more in 47 months than he did in 47 years. He just talks. It's the same old thing.
It's ironic because I feel like that's just what he does, is talk. Jeez. And like I never is
that real, man? Like
yeah, so unfortunately that is real. And again, so this is the reality of politics, is it can take any person. This guy was not a politician. It can take any person and turn them into a politician. The only reason why he put out that video is because he's sliding with seniors. And here's the thing, you know, like I tell people, you know, as I'm now I'm an adult, I guess people would tell me, right? Really, I'm so disappointed with adults. Like when I was a child growing up, I thought so much more of adults than what the reality is now that I am, quote unquote, one of them. And, you know, I think our grandparents, our elderly, our seasoned individuals in the United States, they're adults at the end of the day. And I think that, you know, yes, the first time they gave him a shot, right? And he didn't do enough to protect them, especially now. I think coronavirus is definitely the last straw for a lot of these people. He didn't do enough to protect them. Now, yes, there's still the fanatics, or I shouldn't say fanatics, but there's still the Trump supporters.
I mean, you know, you're just saying it as it is, right?
Yeah, I am trying to call balls and strikes. Because, I mean, that's what I'm noticing too. If you support Trump, like, you fucking support him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, right?
Like, nothing.
If Trump says something is right and it's not right, then, dude, you're all balls to the wall for him.
It is.
It's crazy. If he calls the sky green, you know, everyone's going to say the sky is green.
Right.
I mean, these Trump supporters, man. Trumpeteers, what do you want to call them?
Trumpets.
Trumpeteers, trumpets. I mean, they are the vocal minority.
They are the vocal. Yeah, and listen, like, I have people that I love and that I would still give my life for that are Trumpers, but, you know, I definitely challenge them more so initially than I do now. I think now it's a little bit futile. Like, it's really hard to, I think, change a lot of these people's minds or to kind of shed light on things.
I mean, how do you approach that and try to change these minds? You know, because it's weird.
I think that's where, okay, if I'm playing a game of chess, which I usually am, right, the idea is you want to make moves based upon what the other opponent, anticipating your opponent's move, right? So, not to get too deep into a chess metaphor, but I think the idea is I'm not actually going to go after the Trumpers.
No.
I'm not changing their mind.
No.
In this game, there's 3 voting blocks. There's the Democratic base, the Republican base, and then there's the independent voter, which is the largest voting group in the nation. That's who I'm targeting. I'm targeting the undecided voters and the people who really haven't chosen sides, the ones who, you know, may or may not be deemed to be, you know, in the middle or the most level-headed or whatever you want to say. They're just not fanatical one way or the other. So that's who I'm making a play for.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're a Trumpeteer, I mean, you've already made up your mind, right? You can't.
It's
it's hard to convince those people, man. You have these conversations, and it just feels like you're just talking to a wall. It's ridiculous.
It is. Yeah, it does kind of feel like you're talking to a wall sometimes. Yeah. But I mean, I can understand from their perspective. It probably feels the same exact way, you know. So you know, if you gotta give, you gotta get. So, which is funny. So this goes into one of our next videos. Let me make sure that this is not gonna play. So now we're going, you were talking about Trumpers and trying to change their mind and all that stuff. So there are a bunch of organizations and a bunch of like Republican groups who are like anti-Trump. They were originally anti-Trump when this all first started. You remember when he was running and there was all these Republicans, like Lindsey Graham, I think was one of them. They were like,
Dude,
never
I mean,
Trump.
it was all of them, man.
They were like, never Trump. We won't let him tear up our party and all this. It's like, okay, look at you guys now.
Yeah.
So this is an ad. So Ben Sass, and I forget where he's from, but Ben Sass, pretty prominent Republican figure, talks a lot of shit. He's going against the grain right now, and he's like not on Trump's side. So
has he been going against the grain the whole time, or is it just all of a sudden?
Right now, all of a sudden.
Just all of a sudden.
And this is, and then I'll show you Trump's Twitter feed because it's gonna work in tandem with this video. And the thing about it is, what a lot of people really like about Trump, the one thing that everyone says they really like about Trump is that he says the truth, right? And so here's the thing. A broken clock is right twice a day. Okay?
Yeah.
It's still a fucking broken clock. So I see Trump as a broken clock. Okay? He does have shreds of truth in the shit that he says.
I mean, the dude can't even tell time though, so
yeah, get a little bit closer to it.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, when it's hard to hear your truths through all like the crazy and all the yelling and the hatred and the anger, right? So, anyways, let's go ahead and play this video. Let's get this.
Tell you what, he does a lot of projecting though.
He does a lot of projecting.
Projecting what he thinks the other team is gonna do, but he does it in the behind the scenes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So this is the
What
ad.
does Nebraska's Republican Senator Ben Sass think about our president, Donald J. Trump?
Donald Trump's values are deficient, not just for a Republican, but for an American. He's flirted with white supremacists. He mocks evangelicals behind closed doors. His family has treated the presidency like a business opportunity. The way he kisses dictators' butts. He ignores that the Uyghurs are in literal concentration camps. I don't think the way he's led through COVID has been responsible. When you listen to Nebraskans, they don't really want more rage tweeting. He's ultimately driving the country further to the left.
Yeah, so listen, okay, so a couple things about that. It's nice to see a Republican coming out against Trump, but actually, and here's where we'll talk through the crazy, where it makes sense why he's doing it. The whole pushing the party to the radical left, and then they show Bernie and AOC. It's such bullshit. And on both sides, because, and you know as well as anyone.
Oh, God.
That it's crazy because both sides fear Bernie Sanders and AOC so much. So much. And they use them as a political football when it's the most expedient to their cause, right? So the blue team said that we couldn't have Bernie as a candidate because he was too radical and he would never win and all this shit. And then the red team is still putting him out there as if he was the one who won, but he didn't. You know?
Yeah, that's interesting. Good perspective there.
It's just like, this guy can't win. All right, so anyway, so the reason why Ben Sass is now saying those things about Senior Trump is because... So this is Trump's Twitter feed right now. Let's go down a little bit. So here we go. Here's the Ben Sass crazy-a-thon from Senior Trump.
Was this 4 hours ago, you said?
This is 4 hours ago. So we have tweet number 1. Here we go. Right here. The least effective of our 53 Republican senators. The least effective. Just so happens to be, and a person who truly doesn't have what it takes to be great is Little Ben Sass of Nebraska. So that's his. He got off easy for a nickname, just Little.
Little
Marco,
yeah.
Crazy Bernie.
Jesus.
Sleepy Joe. Little Ben Sass of Nebraska, a state which I have gladly done so much to help.
Really?
Senator Sass was as nice as a rhino. I don't know what he means by that.
Republican in name only.
There it is.
Yeah,
Republican in name only. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Was as nice as a rhino can be until he recently won the Republican something.
Nomination.
Probably.
Right? It goes down.
Oh, it goes down.
Next week. Yeah.
Oh, wait. So I should have started at the top.
I mean, he's tweeting like a storm.
I don't know. Okay, here it is.
Start up top. There it is.
Does it start here? A giant rave coming? Oh, I see. Because they connect with the bars.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is.
I'd be on Twitter, but I don't live on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. It starts here. Senator Little Ben Sass of the great state of Nebraska seems to be heading down the same inglorious path as former senators Little Bob Corker,
Where's Corker from? Oh, Tennessee? Is that him?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Little Bob Corker, whose approval rating in Tennessee went from 55 to 4%, and Jeff the Flake, whose approval rating in Arizona went from 56 to practically nothing. Both senators became unelectable. Couldn't even come close to winning their primaries and decided to drop out of politics and gracefully retire. Sass is next, yada, yada, yada. Basically, that's what I was trying to say, is this is where he's talking crazy, but he's right. The reason why Ben Sass is going against Trump is because where he is, where he's running, he's running the risk of losing his election.
Well, I mean, you got to read the room, right? I mean, clearly there's people in Nebraska not happy with Trump. Right.
Exactly.
I mean,
all the farmers.
Therefore, you gotta right represent your representatives.
Your constituency.
Yeah, your
right?
constituency.
But see, that's a problem. These people don't represent their constituencies. What they do is they play to each election, to whatever, and it's bullshit. That's what
I mean, everybody does that. It's typical politics, right? Unfortunately.
Yes, it is. All right, so let's go on to this. I found this random. Sometimes YouTube throws these random things in front of my face. I have no idea who Midas Touch is, but this is some ad that they created for Tiffany Trump, which I just was like, okay, but whatever. Let's show it.
She's the one who had a party. She said birthday party or something.
See. It's very and for those who don't know, we're here in Chicago, and they do like the nightlife is rife with like bottle service and all that bougie shit. So it's kind of funny because that's like what this is. Look, you'll see.
Sentencing rules are challenging, but imagine families dealing with the loss of a loved one.
Tiffany Trump painted the town red, white, and blue for her 27th birthday.
Foreclosures and for older students missing out on a lot of memories.
Tiffany kicked off the special celebrations at several Miami hotspots.
A complete halt to major celebrations like weddings.
She and her guests were treated to a lavish spread of sushi.
60% of closed businesses won't be reopening.
After dinner, the crew headed over to Kiki on the River for bottles of champagne.
I can relate to so
ridiculous.
many of you who might be looking for a job. Believe me.
So wait. What's her relation? She's the daughter of Trump, but which wife?
I don't know.
Is it the second?
There's so many wives.
So Barron Trump is the one with his current wife, right?
That is true.
But then Tiffany is the one prior.
In the middle wife? I have no idea.
And then the other guys are from the first marriage, right?
I don't know, bro.
Dude, this is gotta do an in-depth study of this family tree here, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's all over the place. So, anyways, I guess part of the reason why I was showing that, not just because it like stumbled upon it and it was like over the top. I wanted to just kind of talk about like political ads, like how they're constructed, and they're just all so ridiculous, you know? Like so, like for instance, here's a Joe Biden one, and I guess I'm kind of like, I gotta find one. I thought I had one here queued up, but I'll find one that's like pro-Trump. I don't want everyone to think, I'm only playing one side of the field here. It'll be actually, I think I have it pulled up somewhere else. It'll be easy for me to find some pro-Trump stuff. But here's another one, just for contrast. This was Biden for America, October 14th. So this one's actually from Twitter. Yeah.
There's a new world coming, and it's just around the bend.
It's time for America to get back up.
There's a brand new morning.
We can build a more perfect union
that belongs to you and me.
The days of divisiveness,
yes, a new world's
will soon be over.
That belongs to you and me.
Let's get back up.
Yes, a new world.
We're decent, we're brave, we're resilient people.
Coming in peace.
We can't believe again.
Coming in love.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
What did that tell you?
What? Vote for Joe Biden,
That's
bro?
Like, what the hell was that? I don't know what any of that was.
I mean, it tells you. Just watch it again. Just read it out loud. Vote for truth. Vote for justice. Vote for Joe.
Vote for Joe, vote for Joe.
Vote for Joe,
There's a whole
man.
bunch of that. So, are you
They got
excited?
Hollywood directors doing this shit now, right?
Yeah, they got like Michael Bay. They need to get Michael Bay on that.
I mean, it's funny though because I know Andrew Yang. When he started making his push, he hired the same guys who did Bernie Sanders' ads back in 2016, and they do a good job. But they look pretty legit, and it's almost felt like some kind of movie though. I mean, these things are epic. Epic trailers, what they're going for now. They just gotta put that Inception music in the back.
That's what I'm saying. It's like what is it? Like some Michael Bay stuff. Like Transformers coming out.
Seriously.
All right, let's find a pro Trump ad so we can
Those even exist.
even it up. We'll even it up a little bit.
All the Trump ads. So I got like YouTube TV, but it's in Houston, geotagged in Houston. We were watching the football game the other day, and it ran I guess an anti-Joe ad followed by a smear campaign for a smearing ad for Heegler, the senator that's running on the Democratic ticket against the incumbent Cornyn.
John Cornyn,
yeah. And then sandwiched between those two negative ads was the positive ad for I think her name is Heeger, Mickey. Oh man, I gotta get this name right. But yeah, the Democratic candidate there. It was weird. I mean, they got three ads in a row. They all said the opposite. It's like, man, if you're watching this and you're not really like paying attention, then how are you gonna know anything? Like,
yeah, no, a lot of people aren't paying attention at all.
Yeah.
It's what they want as part of the political process, anyways.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be.
They don't want
you paying attention because then you
They don't
like
want you
watch
learning
stuff.
in school.
Like you want
Yeah.
things fixed and. No, they want you to just be watching TV.
Well, it's ridiculous. A lot of these Trump ads. I mean, you play the next one.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, so which one of these ridiculous ones do you want to see? So okay, hold on.
We'll just play the latest one, right? I mean,
Well, I don't know because here
2 hours ago.
These are all clips from his So he does speeches and his media team's on point, bro. These are all clips. Like if I had a team doing the clips of all my shows, this is what I need.
Freaking highlight reel.
Okay.
Sound bites.
Okay, we have insults. We have only I can drain the swamp. We got now we know why Joe got so angry. You tell me when you want.
Well, go up. There's something that was 2 hours ago. What is that? What is this latest?
2 hours ago, the latest video.
Oh, these are just. Oh no, these are
this
just.
is Pence doing a thing.
Joe
Here we go.
Biden never lifted a finger for
Joe Biden
25
and Kamala Harris
years.
want to ban fracking. Is this a?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's so yeah. So those are my ads. I want to show an actual ad. Here we'll do this latest one. One day ago, 105,000. No, here we'll do this one.
Where's the one where there's a bunch of Trump ads where he's talking about how he built the greatest economy in the world? I mean,
The greatest economy.
Yeah. Talking about bringing jobs and just like people not realize that people are like, still unemployed. I mean,
let's see if we can. Yeah, we lost a lot of jobs last month too.
yeah, I don't know. It's what the heck?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find that. All right, let's just play one random.
I've just seen a lot of like
Oh yeah, he's all over the place saying that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of
off. A lot of Hunter Biden stuff. Stand up for China. Whatever.
Just play one and see how it goes. Turns out.
All right, let's see. Let's do this one. I want to do this one. I want to know why Joe's mad.
Okay, one is Joe's mad.
How was that not? 1 second.
But this is more of a smear ad, right? None of.
I don't think he has any positive. Okay, so the only positive. He had a positive ad. I can't find it.
I've definitely seen a positive. Like I was mentioning earlier, right? He was talking about his accomplishments, right? Oh, he built the greatest economy. Oh, he helped secure healthcare. I was just like, what? It's very tone deaf. It's weird. It was just like.
Well, that was what I was saying when I was watching the RNC.
Yeah.
The convention. I was like, do these people live in an alternate reality?
Seriously, right?
Like, what planet do you guys live on? Like, it's so weird. It reminded me of like.
What they brought those people that were pointing the guns and they
the
spoke?
family. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now they're getting indicted, right, or something like that, right?
Yeah. It reminded me of like the Get Out, like in Get Out, and I don't mean to be like racial or anything. I just mean how like those people lived in an alternate reality. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Yeah, like just very, very weird.
But I know that the Trump ad I'm talking about, like they were talking about, oh, Trump, brought X million of jobs, but it doesn't mention anything about the coronavirus, doesn't mention anything about the economy being shut down, and then more people lost more jobs than he even created. So like, it's just like, oh yeah, he did all this stuff, and now they're saying, oh, he's rebuilding and refixing and making it better. I was like, dude hasn't done anything. I don't know what's going on here. And of course, it's showing like the stock footage of a family, and it's around the dinner table, and laughing and playing outside. It's like, what's going on here? This is not representative of America right now. Like, I guarantee you, no one is laughing and playing outside. Like,
yeah, no, people are hurting right now. They're having a really hard time. We're waiting on this other stimulus package, and that's another thing too of discussion.
I thought it's not coming. McConnell benched that, or
well, because want
to push this Supreme Court dude through or lady through, right?
Yeah. Even though like they can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
God, who came up with that saying, man? I got so sick of that.
Walk and chew gum?
Yeah.
That's my jam right now, because it makes sense. Like, I mean, it's just such a simplest thing, because you don't think about it. When you're walking and chewing gum, you don't got to think about it, but you're doing two completely different things at the same time, right? You got to not bite your cheek, and you got to not trip over the damn curb. So, I mean, it's I think it's a pretty good metaphor. All right, so let's watch this Trump.
This looks like
it's going to be.
It's more like a smear campaign ad, but
it's gonna
give it a shot here.
Your son's job in Ukraine. How is that not a conflict of interest?
It's not a conflict of interest. There's been no indication of any conflict of interest from Ukraine or anywhere else. Period. I'm not gonna respond to that. Let's focus on the problem. Focus on this man, what he's doing, that no president has ever done.
You're selling access to the president.
You're a damn liar, man.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
Do you think it was wrong for him to take that position?
No.
Knowing that it was really because that company wanted access to you?
Well, that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?
Who said that?
So, all right. So given that, so here, let me cancel. Wait. So that actually brings up a really good thing, because they're basically talking about Hunter Biden and those emails, right?
Here we go.
Here we go again. Russia and the emails, baby.
Here we go.
Okay, so here.
Same play out of the 2016 playbook, right?
So yes, it is 2016 playbook. So I'm gonna run to an excerpt or to an article by Glenn Greenwald, and I'm going to read a couple portions of this. It's going to be a little lengthy, but I think it's important, and the reason is because this ties directly into what we just talked about, Hunter Biden and the emails. So for those of you who don't know, the New York Post published a smoking gun article about
quotes. Smoking gun.
I know, right? Smoking gun article about Hunter Biden's emails. And the emails, the way that they got him, the story is really weird. He was drunk and he left it at a computer repair shop, and the computer repair shop ended up keeping it because he forgot it was there. And then the guy gave the emails to Rudy Giuliani or something. It's just all very weird, very weird. But what happened in the midst of that is something that we all should be talking about. And it's the way in which Twitter and Facebook were banning the sharing of this article. And now this is something that we can start debating. So I just want to read a little bit of what Glenn Greenwald of The Intercept wrote. Facebook and Twitter crossed the line, far more dangerous than what they censor. Just weeks before the election, the tech giants unite to block access to incriminating reporting about their preferred candidate. So the New York Post, for those who don't know, it's one of the country's oldest and largest newspapers, founded in 1801 by Alexander Hamilton, and it's only one of three U.S. newspapers that are more widely circulated, meaning outside of the U.S. And ever since it was purchased by Rupert Murdoch in 1976, it has been known, like everything else that Murdoch does, for right-wing tabloid sensationalism. Albeit one that has some real reporters and editors and is capable of reliable journalism, right? So that's Greenwald giving him credit where it's due. So again, on Wednesday, This week, the paper published on its cover what it heralded as a blockbuster scoop, a smoking gun evidence, in its words, in the form of emails purportedly showing that Joe Biden's son, Hunter, traded on his father's position by securing favors from the then vice president to benefit the Ukrainian energy company Burisma, which paid the supremely unqualified Hunter $50 grand a month to sit on its board. While the campaign denies any meetings or favors ever occurred, neither campaign nor Hunter, at least of now, has denied the authenticity of the emails, which I think is very telling, right? Like they didn't come out and say those emails don't exist. I don't know if that's a political play or not, but
I mean, part of it is they're just not going to even entertain this idea, right?
Sure.
I mean,
well,
right?
Well,
there's two sides to the story,
that's
right?
kind of like what Trump and the damn negative COVID
right?
test.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're just not going to entertain this. It's just a non-story to them, right?
Non-story, yeah. So, okay, so the post hyping of the story as some cataclysmic bombshell was overblown. And he just basically goes on to say here, while the emails, if they're authenticated, provide new details. The broad outlines of the story have already been known. We already knew Hunter Biden made this money. We already knew he has these Burisma dealings. We already knew all this stuff. So this is basically what he's saying here, and explain how they came. What I think is important is where it says, but the post, for all its longevity, power, and influence, ran smack into two entities far more powerful than it, Facebook and Twitter. Almost immediately upon publication, pro-Biden journalists created a climate of extreme hostility and suppression toward the Post story, making clear that any journalist even mentioning it would be roundly attacked for the crime of simply noting the story on Twitter, even while pointing out its flaws. New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman was instantly vilified to the point where her name, along with the phrase MAGA Haberman, were trending on Twitter. That Haberman is a crypto Trump supporter is preposterous for so many reasons, including the fact that she is responsible for countless front-page Times stories that reflect negatively on the president. Moreover, in 2016, Clinton campaign considered Haberman one of their most favorable reporters. The two Silicon Valley giants saw the hostile climate and reacted. Just 2 hours after the story was online, Facebook intervened. The company dispatched a lifelong Democratic Party operative who now works for Facebook, Andy Stone, previously a communications operative for Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, among other D.C. jobs, to announce that Facebook was reducing the article's distribution on our platform. In other words, tinkering with its own algorithms to suppress the ability of users to discuss or share the news articles. The longtime Democratic Party official did not try to hide his contempt for the article, beginning his censorship announcement by slightly noting, "I will not intentionally link to the New York Post." And then it goes on to say, Twitter's suppression efforts went far beyond Facebook's. They banned entirely all users' ability to share the Post article, not just on their public timeline, but even in the private direct messaging feature. That's crazy. That is crazy.
I mean, it's a private company. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Fair. So here's where, yes.
I mean,
yes, but check this out. See, this is where like you gotta dig. I was up like super late, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. We're good there. Let me find this. Let me find this post. I saved it on my. You're on my phone. That's okay. Okay, so this is why that's important. Every time Zuckerberg and these other assholes got in front of Congress to testify, they always said that we are a platform that is nothing more than the delivery of information. Therefore, we cannot be held responsible or liable for anything that gets posted. So when one kid bullies another kid and that kid kills themselves, when misinformation gets spread around and people hurt other people, right? When riots or whatever begin because of misinformation, whatever the case is, right? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all these big tech companies, Google included for YouTube, they cry, they say we're not liable. We're just a platform. Well, are you a platform or are you a media organization who actively censors stories? Because you can't be both. And I think that's why this is important. So what say you, Patrick?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you don't notice, but you actually can't send pornographic links on Facebook Messenger or Instagram either, right? So
Sure.
why are they doing that too, right? I mean, yeah, they're a private organization. They can do what they want, but at the end of the day, like, there's no laws in America that say you can't do this and that, right? So yeah, I mean, they can say whatever they want to say in front of Congress, but they can do another thing. So I mean, it's up to us to hold them accountable. Are we going to actually do anything about it?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's the problem, right? I mean,
yeah. Well,
that's the problem.
That is the
What
problem.
do we want out of Google, YouTube, Facebook, etc., right? Do we really want unbiased news, or do we want to see things that we want to see?
Right.
I mean, that's just right. We have the traditional media that is, more or less run by the elite, right?
Yes.
Then we have these other newer platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Google, Instagram, whatever you want to call it, that the younger people flock to for their current events. So I mean,
and I hear you. I'm with you. I also listen. If we're gonna live in a free market and all the shit that everyone wants to espouse, then you have to treat these organizations as independent organizations, and it's a business, right? You can make the decision to use Facebook or not. But at what point does something become like? How do I say this? I'm not saying to take over ownership of Facebook, but when everyone in the public, and I say everyone because of like the great majority of the public uses this thing, there does need to be some form of regulation that goes into it. And as to what you said was, there are no laws, right?
No.
Well, let's make some fucking laws, right? Because here's the reality: whether that story was fake or not, or whether like the origins of the emails, like whatever. I think it's, again, to me, it's the idea that at the flip of a switch or, a few button clicks on a keyboard, that they can stop anything from moving, any information from moving. That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
That's crazy to me. And again, we don't have to use their platform to disseminate this information, right? But you're so ingrained into the public space that you're now, like, for instance, the internet. Right? There's some people that consider the internet to be akin to water.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't go, like, how do I say this? I wouldn't go as far as to say it's akin to water because I don't need the internet
it's
to
utility,
live.
right?
Yes, but a utility in the sense like electricity.
Right.
We don't need electricity,
it's not like,
but you need it.
It's not like food, shelter, water, internet, right?
Yes.
Like, it's not in that order. Well, for some people it might be.
Right.
Food, internet, water.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. So should we start looking at these tech companies in the same way, where it's the public utility, or because we have private utility companies that administer public utilities.
Right.
You understand?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I'm harping back on my boy Andrew Yang. He actually had policy ideas on these guys, right? Creating a cabinet position or administration that oversees and works with these tech companies. What are they doing with these algorithms? What are they putting out there? Like, and who's controlling it? And essentially, so they want to have some oversight. He's one of the only candidates I saw that had that policy. I mean, I don't know if Bernie did. I know Biden doesn't really have anything set for that.
Right.
I know Trump doesn't really care, right? As long as it's making him money and winning him votes, right? But Andrew Yang put out policy ideas. He put out solid, ideas, policy, and well, the problem is that it wasn't popular enough, right? But he had almost any kind of opinion on everything. He had some kind of solution, and like this is an issue right here we're talking about, right?
Right.
It's how we get information. It's how we make decisions, and if we're not getting the full picture, then, or if it's being biased or skewed in a certain way, right?
Right.
I think on Google algorithms, right? Like a company can pay to be higher, right, on the first search result, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Or
for
something
Google,
like that.
you can pay.
You can pay to
that's
be.
how it operates.
There's like an ad, right? But then you can also, like, if you drum up enough like clicks, you can actually be the top click, right? It just created some kind of if you know how to navigate Google, right? If you're just popular enough, you'll be the top thing. Like, I think if you like, just like hashtagging, like they did the Proud Boys, right? You can hijack a hashtag on Twitter, right? And then you can be the new search result. So there's ways to do that on Google, Facebook, Instagram, same way, so that you pop up first, right? So how are those algorithms and how those are being created and
Right. And
generating content.
And as he said in here, as soon as that popped out, they just altered the algorithm so that you no longer got those things.
Right.
So yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring that up. I think that's pretty important. I think that's something that we should be like actively paying attention to, you know, especially since this is only going to become more like it's going to get worse, right? Censorship is a real thing. And who controls the flow of information is also a real thing, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, 1984, go read it. All right, so that was that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, so let's go on to, I want to play a few videos from Governor Whitmer.
Oh, we're talking about the kidnapping now.
Kidnapping now. Yeah, so let's shift gears to a little kidnapping action. Unfortunately,
this is real life. I mean, this is 2020, but this is crazy, right?
These guys are fucking morons.
This is crazy.
This is
I mean, this isn't just like, you know, backyard texting and just joking around. Oh, I'm gonna do, you know, these guys were right. I mean, if I read the reports correctly, these guys were training and
that was that. The other thing I wanted to talk about. So let's go on to
training and
a few videos from Governor
tests, bombs, and scouting
Whitmer.
Locations, and we're talking about the kidnapping now.
Kidnapping now. Yeah, so let's shift gears to a little kidnapping action. Unfortunately,
this is real life. I mean, this is 2020, but this is crazy, right?
These guys are fucking morons.
Is that what happened in real life? I mean, this isn't just.
All right, let me see. Guess it was my audio engine this whole time. Owen, check, mic check. Governor,
tests, bombs, and scouting
Whitmer.
Locations, and we're talking about the kidnapping now.
Kidnapping now. Yeah, so let's shift gears to a little kidnapping action. Unfortunately,
this is real life. I mean, this is 2020, but this is crazy, right?
These guys are fucking morons.
Is that what happened in real life? I mean, this isn't just.
All right, let me see. Wait, did it go now? Guess it was my audio engine this whole time. Guess we're better now. No? Give me a mic check, you.
Testing, mic check.
Wait for this to come through. Owen, check, mic check. Governor,
tests, bombs, and scouting
Whitmer.
Locations, and we're talking about the kidnapping now.
Kidnapping now. Yeah, so let's shift gears to a little kidnapping action. Unfortunately,
this is real life.
Is that what happened in real life?
I mean,
Last night, the FBI and Michigan State Police arrested.
Guess we're better now. No? Give me a mic check, you.
testing, mic check.
Wait for this to come through. Owen, check, mic check. Governor,
tests, bombs, and scouting
Whitmer.
Locations, and we're talking about the kidnapping now.
Kidnapping now. Yeah, so let's shift gears to a little kidnapping action. Unfortunately,
this is real life.
Is that what happened in real life?
I mean,
when this story broke.
Last night, the FBI and Michigan State Police arrested.
All right, let's see if this will work.
By law
Hopefully,
enforcement. Last night, the FBI and Michigan State Police arrested 6 individuals charged in a federal complaint with conspiring to kidnap the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, before the November election.
The FBI revealing details of a months-long investigation Thursday that involved informants, undercover agents, and secret recordings to thwart an elaborate alleged plot by anti-government militia members that officials became aware of through social media.
The alleged conspirators used operational security measures, including communicating by encrypted messaging platforms, and used code words and phrases in an attempt to avoid detection by law enforcement.
Investigators say the suspects conducted surveillance on the governor's vacation home and discussed detonating explosive devices to divert police. 7 other suspects linked to the militia group Wolverine Watchmen were charged in state court.
The individuals in custody are suspected to have attempted to identify the home addresses of law enforcement officers in order to target them, made threats of violence intended to instigate a civil war, and engaged in planning and training for an operation to attack the Capitol building of Michigan and to kidnap government officials, including the governor of Michigan.
As a mom with 2 teenage daughters and 3 stepsons, my husband and I are eternally grateful to everyone who put themselves in harm's way to keep our family safe.
Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer reacting. For months, she's been the target of right-wing protesters over her coronavirus restrictions.
I know these sound simple, but they work, and they will help mitigate the spread.
All right, so there's that, and then I just wanted to play an update to that. So obviously these guys, sorry for the audio, if you're here, awesome. So, yeah, 13 dudes arrested in a plot to kidnap this Michigan governor. So this was earlier today. Here's some new evidence that was presented in the case that I thought was just absolutely ridiculous.
Guns, tactical
Again.
training and surveillance of the governor's vacation home. In more than 20 exhibits, the U.S. government lays out its case against 5 men facing federal charges for their role in an alleged plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer and overthrow the Michigan government. Videos often collected by confidential sources and undercover agents give a behind-the-scenes look at the alleged plot. The FBI's case agent testified this video was collected during a field training exercise where the kidnapping plot was discussed. The feds say these videos show 2 of the alleged conspirators showing how good they are at rapid reloading rifles, which an agent testified is only necessary if you believe you'll be in a gun battle. Other evidence includes this photo taken by a confidential informant, which the Department of Justice says is alleged ringleader Adam Fox performing surveillance on Governor Whitmer's vacation home. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, conspirators made 2 trips to surveil and map out the home. They say this photo shows Fox drawing a sketch of the area around the home. Another photo includes the actual map they allege Fox drew. Encrypted text messages show members of the group allegedly worried they'd been infiltrated, even arranging a meeting with personal documents to prove their identities. In other messages, the suspects allegedly say they need to keep a low profile in order to execute their plans.
So the biggest takeaway from that is they were using WhatsApp. And somehow they got all these messages. So just
gotta get on Signal, is that right?
Gotta get on Signal. That's right.
Is that your plug?
That's my plug. Yes, that's my plug. Get on Signal. Let me make sure this is still working properly.
They say this photo shows Fox drawing a...
All right, cool. All right, well, that sucks that was happening. The audio, but also the attempted kidnapping plot of the governor. All right, so I think there's like one last thing that I wanted to do before we run out of here. And that is, let me close this right here. So I wanted to play this clip. COVID-19 cases are rising. We know that. So I don't know if you caught this, Patrick, but this is from Bruce's show recently.
No, I did not.
So
who is this? You said this is this
Steve and Alicia Vernon. They're a Florida couple that Bruce pulled in. You know, plain speaking Americans kind of thing. So
they're in Florida.
They're in Florida.
They're not in Chicago.
Yeah, they're definitely in Florida. So here, check this out.
29 is the phone number. We'll take some calls in just a moment. But let me ask this: what is the one single issue that has turned you on to Donald Trump to the degree that you're turned on? And I'm going to ask Alicia to tackle this one.
I think he's the best president since George Washington.
Why?
Well, first of all, the moving the embassy to Jerusalem. Nobody talks about this, but I heard the other day that he allowed the Cubans to sue the Cuban government for the first time since the 1950s when it originally happened. And every president before Trump said, oh, yeah, I'll let you Cubans sue the Cuban government in a minute. As soon as I become president, just vote for me and I will take care of it. And Trump is the only one that was good on his promise. And that's just one incident. He was the only president to attend the pro-life rally. Yeah. He's the only president to declare on the day he just declared God's what was a day of praying, atonement on the biggest Jewish holiday of the year, Yom Kippur. He joined in and declaring it at a very holy day, which was beautiful.
Derek Addis has a question for you.
Yeah,
Derek?
and I'm asking, you guys are pro-life?
Yes.
So are you guys, because you mentioned the embassy being moved, and are you pro-Palestinian life?
Yeah.
We're pro every life.
Sure. So you know that the ramifications of moving that embassy and what that adds to the turmoil that's in that region, right? I mean, I personally don't think that was the best
The
move.
turmoil is going to be the same no matter what. The Palestinians don't want peace. They're just finding every excuse.
I'm a Palestinian. I want peace.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
yeah. Under what circumstances do you want peace?
They never want peace. They
The
declare they
destruction
don't
of
want peace.
Israel?
Let's
let
about the peace treaty.
Alicia, let's let Derek respond. He's identified himself.
Yeah,
he is a Palestinian, so let's.
Yeah, my family, my father's Palestinian, and you know, I'm not going to like. There's a lot of nuances in that region that as Americans we're not actually privy to, right? We get this news that we get through the media, but we're not actually there behind the walls. We're not actually there watching water being, constricted and constrained as far as free flowing. We're not the ones that have to go through Israeli checkpoints just trying to go around the town. We're not the ones who have no freedom of mobility. And as an American who enjoys liberty and the freedom of movement, but also as someone who's Palestinian, they don't. Okay. You know?
All right, Steve and Alicia, I want to thank you very much for being with us. We wanted to reach out and get some real people from real Florida.
I want to play that on my show because I don't know how many people saw Bruce's show.
Right.
But yeah, if you guys get a chance, check out Bruce's show, beyondthebeltway.com, or just Beyond the Beltway on YouTube. But yeah, so it was, those people came on. They came on pretty hot, just and yeah, she just came out and was just barking. So I think the moral of that story is read the room. It was something you said earlier today, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, read the room. Know who you're talking to, when you're talking to them, and all that stuff. So,
but
that's that. Well, Patrick, thanks for joining me today. Unfortunately, there were some audio issues, so we'll get it right next time.
We'll get it now, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it helps to have a producer, like someone who's listening on the other end. But no, definitely appreciate you coming. I'm down to do this again. You trying to come do it again?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Bring a few topics to the table, you know?
Yeah, this is a surprise today, so.
Yeah. So what's on your, is there anything that you're kind of is on your mind right now? Anything that you want to discuss real quick, or?
I mean, not off the top. I mean, how much time do we have, right? We can go on and on about Trump and these. I mean, I was talking about these two lovely individuals from Florida. I mean, they seem to have the world firmly grasped in their hand. They know exactly what's going on,
they got
right?
It figured out.
They got it all figured out.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's kind of, people think like this and talk like this, so you can't be surprised sometimes. But it is, what is it? It's not to say humbling, but it's definitely sobering to understand. Oh wait, maybe not everyone thinks the way we all want to think and should think, right?
Yeah, and yeah, people will say that's the spice of life, like our differences and stuff, which is great, and I'm all about it. But there comes a point when we do have to agree on something.
Yeah.
Or things. And, I think increasingly every day I'm realizing that there really are people who don't like change. They want things to stay the same, or they want to actually go back in time and to they reminisce about, the good old days and all this shit. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it wasn't like what are the good old days?
Dude, I mean, I ran into a lot of these people when I worked on the pipeline. I mean, they always reminiscing, Every topic was come up. Like, we talk about immigration, they say, oh, everyone should get in line. And I said, what line?
What does that line look like? Yeah.
Tell me where the line starts, because that's not a freaking, cafeteria line. Like, this is... Yeah. I don't think they understand what the border is or what immigration is like, really.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, they just get in line.
Yeah.
You don't just get in line and get your card punched. That's not how it works here. So.
And I think there's this misconception that everything in the government runs as it should. And it's crazy because I think it's like a double-edged sword. It's, there's a large group of people that want to limit government and they want small government, right? And then there's other people who want, they don't want big government, but they want government to handle certain things and they want them to do it well. And the problem is when these people have been able to get these government programs, like a Medicare or, even Social Security, these kind of things, those programs or the resources lent to managing those programs is gutted by the people who don't want big government. So then essentially government doesn't work for either people because it just doesn't have what it needs to run smoothly. So it can never win. Government can never win.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think we got the term big government, I think it was coined by Reagan back in the 80s or something. Like, what is big government? Because the Republicans, they spend a lot of money on big government programs. I mean, we're talking military spending, trillions of dollars. And I don't think people really want the naming. It's the Republicans have done a great job of coining these funny names, big government. What is big government, right? I mean, but I think at the end of the day, people just want fiscal responsibility. Like, if we're going to pay for something, where does the money come from, right?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily just big government program spending, because both parties spend money. But the Republicans tend to gut programs, like you're saying, and they don't pull the money back in anywhere.
So that was...
So this term, to me, big government, what pro-life, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like right? It's these terms that the Republican Party comes up with.
Like as if people are anti-life.
Yeah, like who's anti-life?
Yeah.
Like, nah, dude, nah. I just hate life.
I want everyone dead.
What does that even mean? Like,
so there was
right?
Yeah, no, really.
These terms are crazy.
Well,
They're right? They're designed to divide.
They're master marketers.
Exactly.
They really are.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they know their base more than anyone. Like, really, like the Dems, like, because I think part of the Dems problem is they want to have broad mass appeal. They don't know anyone. They know like pockets of each of these groups of people because there's so many different groups of people. Whereas the Republicans, they know. They talk guns. They talk freedom. They talk patriotism.
Oh my gosh.
They talk pro-life. Right? What else do they say?
Pro-life is...
What am I missing? It's literally like, it's not even a full deck of cards. It's literally like you're playing... what's that?
Well, you got like a religion, right? Evangelicals,
there you go,
right?
religion.
They play those cards. I mean, it's just like, why is abortion even a thing? Like, no one is going out there like, oh, I love abortions. Like, let me just get my abortion this week. Like, no one's doing that.
It's
like,
crazy because...
Hey, Derek, you want to know what's really fun this weekend? Let's go get some abortions. Like, that's not a thing.
Hey, abortions are on sale at Planned Parenthood this
exactly.
weekend.
Like, that's not a thing. Like,
it's not
never should be.
It's not.
The research has shown that if you're actually funding Planned Parenthood and you're funding sex education, abortions drop.
Yeah.
Look,
well, when you're funding sex education programs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's less
Definitely.
pregnancies being created in the first place.
Right.
You act like you're telling these kids not to go bone is going to keep these kids from boning.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, we did that in the 20s with prohibition. Hey, don't drink alcohol. What happened? What happened?
It's crazy to me.
You can't outlaw things and expect things to go away. That's impossible.
This is backwards. This whole thing is backwards.
To me, when I hear like somebody's like, "Oh, you're pro-choice. You must love abortions." Like, that's not. No, I don't think we should be having abortions. So the best way to reduce abortions is to educate the population. Right? I mean, that's simple.
Right.
But if you look at the statistics, the states, right, the counties, the cities that actually have less sex education funding, less Planned Parenthood, actually have increased abortions.
Yes.
Those are the same cities, the same states that actually outlaw them.
Well, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure.
Exactly.
And, if to some people the cure is getting an abortion, wouldn't you want to prevent them? If you're anti-abortion, give them the prevention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, it's backwards, and I think that's it's by design, man. It is. It's by design. The reality is, again, we say this all the time, the minority will be the majority in like 2050, something like that. And as far as I can tell, they don't want these people to be incredibly educated, and the minority. No. They don't want us, the minority, to be incredibly educated and thought-provoking and progressive, and just even the word I'm looking for is like taking initiative, like getting elected. They don't want us making laws. They don't want us to be, they don't want us to be the movers and shakers in the United States. They want to keep that power within themselves.
Yep.
Power doesn't relinquish power just to be nice. It has to be taken from them. And so the easiest way to keep a community down is to keep the cycle of poverty happening by babies having babies, fatherless families, right? And I understand that at the end of the day, all of these decisions are there's a personal responsibility tied to them, right? You made the decision to, maybe have unprotected sex and then get pregnant, or you made the decision to go commit a crime and now you're in jail and you're away from your family. I totally understand that. But I look at the base, the foundation of where that person came from in the first place, to be in those positions where they're making these maybe poorly thought decisions, right? More often than not, these people didn't come from everything. They came from close to nothing. Do you understand?
Right.
And that's the cycle that I'm talking about. It's the cycle of poverty and, disenfranchisement and all this other stuff. And so, it's hard to point fingers at people when they're trying to do something to better themselves later,
Yeah, I think another issue is I think the Republican Party just likes to point the finger at people, not the problem.
Never themselves.
I mean, even themselves. But I think, when you start like, it's that person's fault for having a baby. It's like, or having unwanted pregnancy. It's like, you're not really looking for the solution here. You're just trying to, shift blame elsewhere. If we're going to take a page out of, a Formula One Toto Wolff team principle for Mercedes, you don't blame the people, you blame the problem.
Right.
And that way we can actually fix the problem. What is the problem? The problem is not a person. It's not Derek having unprotected sex. It's the reason why he's in that situation. Not that you don't have, but like,
sure.
If we keep blaming people and just say it's on there, it's them, it's up to them to do something to fix it and stuff. It's like, well, okay, you're not really helping.
Right.
Yeah,
you're just like shaming and like kind of being all,
We're not getting anywhere in the solution.
Yeah, that's not going to make anybody want to listen to you or whatever anyway.
Yeah, so, what is the problem? We like to look at the data, the solution.
What is the root cause of the problem? And so again, I think it goes back to what I was saying is these people know what the problem is. No one's dumb. And this is on both sides of the aisle. This isn't just the red team creating these problems. The blue team has had more than ample opportunity to fix a lot of the problems that has plagued certain communities in the United States. And I mean, again, we had 8 full years of Obama where a good majority of that he had control, right? Or enough time of that he had control. He had those 2 years when he had it all.
2 years. Well, what are you gonna get done in 2 years, right?
I mean, 2 years is a long time, man.
That's true. Trump ruined this country in 3 years.
Yeah, he ruined this country. And the damn tax cuts before Paul Ryan left.
True.
He got that shit in real quick.
That's ridiculous.
That shit was like 9 months.
Yeah, I think that we're still in that honeymoon phase with the Democrats winning. They think, we solved racism, we solved everything by getting Obama elected, and then 2 years went by, and then, oh crap, we lost all our leverage because we weren't actually doing anything for 2 years. Like you're saying, it's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the Medicare, right? I mean, some people think that's a disaster. I mean, what did we have before?
Right. No, I mean, before half of the things that we had. And I don't know. Like I said, I think the seniors are turning on. Well, we know the seniors are turning on Trump.
There's less seniors. It's about 200,000 less seniors.
200,000 less people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do this again soon.
Definitely.
I'm glad you're finally getting a little more comfortable with it. Come through anytime you like, my friend. Do you want to throw any socials out there? Or you just...
I got none.
Okay.
Don't follow me anywhere. Keeping it low.
Don't follow him anywhere.
Follow Yang Gang, though.
Follow Yang Gang. Parting words. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. And as always, I may not be correct, but at least I started the conversation. Peace.